right? And this is the attitude that Frederick Douglass had. And this is what inspires me to continue talking, no matter how much likes and dislike ratios I get, no matter how much hate I get in the comment section about what I say. This what gives me strength, because this guy, he actually went through slavery. He actually went through it. And this is the kind of mindset he had. First, you are a man, though a black man, because I'm not going to use colored, if you're only a horse or an ox, incapable of deciding whether the rebels are right or wrong. Pretty much he's calling black people to action. Hey, what do you think? Do you think you should be fighting for your own freedom? You have no responsibility. He's pretty much calling them out, saying, hey, you're not a bystander in this. This affects you. If we win, you're free. If you lose, you stay enslaved and suffering. So go fight for your freedom. This is essentially what he was, his call to arms for slaves to join the Civil War. You have no responsibility and might, like a horse or an ox, go on eating corn or grass in total indifference. As to which side is victorious or vanquished in this conflict, you are, however, not a horse and not an ox, but a man, a human being. That's my ideology too. We're all human here. I don't care if you're white, Asian, black. It doesn't matter to me. You're a man, you're a human. We all should see each other as one another, like one people. We're all Americans here, and we want the best for our country. We shouldn't be saying, oh, you can't criticize me because you're not a ADOS, but you want me to pay for your reparations. Oh, okay, bro. You are ever not a horse or a crab, but a man, and whatever concerns men should interest you. Right? And when people say, oh, why you care? Like black people, black liberals will say, oh, why you care so much? Well, it interests me because this is our country. We can't have this discourse continuing throughout our history. And this is why I said, like, the hard facts about black history, we need to change it. The black history is supposed to serve as a lesson, not as a narrative to push resentment and grievance to cause some type of division in our culture. That defeats the purpose of learning history. And as a nation is entitled to teach history in a way that unifies its people. To acknowledge the wrong, but look to the future. That should be the facts about black history. I'm going to keep repeating it. America was once black people's greatest oppressor. Now it's its greatest liberator. That's the truth. That's the facts. That's the nuance. That's the nuance take. It ain't black and white. It ain't America was founded on racism. Okay, show me the Constitution where it says slavery is the birthright of the white man. Where on the Constitution it says that? Or that's you interpreting it that way. Right? And it's always liberals. Look, Democrats since the founding, when they seceded from the Union to protect slavery, they always trying to interpret the Constitution how they see it instead of looking at the literal language. It's been true since the beginning of the two parties, since the beginning of the Democratic Party and the beginning of the Republican Party. The Republicans go by the Constitution. Hey, there's nothing in the Constitution that protects slavery, therefore we should abolish slavery. Democrats go, no, if the founding fathers actually intended slavery to be there, they would have wrote it in there. But that's not what's on the damn paper, bro. It says all men are created equal. The country was founded on the Constitution, therefore America should not have slavery because slavery does not treat people equally. Constitutional. But no, Democrats want to kind of imagine, oh, this is actually how we should interpret the Constitution. See, always trying to bend the rules into their vision of the world. They've been doing it for slavery. Now they're trying to justify it for other rights. But you see what I'm going with this, right? But, I digress. A man is a man for that second. You're, however, not only a man, but an American citizen, right? Look at the language that Frederick Douglass, a slave, a former slave, fighting in the Civil War. Look how he talks. But black Americans in 2023 are out here crying, being more entitled than this man. This man said, I have to earn my freedom. And a freedom that black Americans in 2023 did not earn themselves. But it was a benefit that got handed down to them from their ancestors. And they try to use that fact to hit me with it and saying, oh, you wouldn't understand. I'm born American, bro. Get out of here. Craziness. Squandering their great legacy. Black Americans have some great history that they can stand and be proud of. But instead they use that pride to try to get something for nothing. So declared by the highest legal advisor of the government, you have a here to express in various ways not only your willingness but your earnest desire to fulfill any and every obligation which relate with the relation of citizenship imposed. Indeed, I don't know how to say that word. You have hitherto felt wronged and slighted because while white men of all nations have been freely enrolled to serve the country, you are a native-born citizen and have been coldly denied the honor of aiding in the defense of the land of your birth. The injustice thus done to you is now repented by the government, and you are welcome to place in an army of the nation. Should you refuse to enlist now, you will justify the past contempt of the government towards you and lead it to a regret having honored you with a call to take arms in its defense. You cannot but see that here's a good reason why you should promptly enlist. This is some of the arguments. He had like 5 arguments, I believe, right? A third reason why a colored man should enlist is found in the fact that every Negro, every black hated and slave lover in the land regards the arming of blacks as a calamity, and doing so is best to prevent it. AKA, he's hinting at what, guys? Gun control. Gun control was founded on slavery and Jim Crow. Oh, hard facts about black history, right? But who's the main one pushing black gun control? Black people, maybe. Oh, it's black people killing each other it's guns that's killing black people. Who's pulling the trigger? Another black guy. All to absolve themselves of the responsibility. When are we going to have accountability in our culture? I think that's what we're missing in our history. Accountability. All right. I'm not going to go too far, right? 4th reason you should enlist is to learn the use of arms, to become familiar with the means of securing, protecting, and defending your own liberty. I can end the video right there. That's the facts about black history. You have to become familiar with the means of securing, protecting, and defending your own liberty. For me as a conservative, that's for my family. This is why, hey, do for self. Government, do nothing for me. Government, get out of my way. That's conservatism. When black progressives come out here and said, oh, in our black culture, we were never conservatives. I point to this. I say, oh, you a damn liar. Oh, you don't know history then, bro. This was the point, right? Oh, slavery. No, when you're a slave, they didn't want you to learn how to arm yourself, protect yourself, defend yourself. They don't teach slaves how to defend themselves because that didn't benefit the slave master, right? But what did benefit the slave master? Your labor. So the better they made your labor, the more benefit they get themselves. Right? But when Republicans come out here, put out laws saying, hey, we're going to teach accurate history, we're going to give nuanced history, they didn't even say all instances of slavery. They said in some instances of slavery, slaves applied some of the skills they learned during slavery for their own benefit. And people want to be in their fifis about that, when that's just the truth. Say they're lying at least. And recently I saw a video from the Black Conservative Perspective. He pointed out how progressives made the same argument. Bruh, I'll link his video at the end of this clip in the replay. Y'all find it. He shows, he said, look, progressives, they taught it the same way. They say, hey, some slaves learned from slavery how to do their thing. I'm like, yo, that's craziness. I appreciate it, Matthew. That's craziness to me. Okay, here's another one. Like, I got 6 minutes left before we go into the main event, which is where we're going to go with Larry Elder. And he's going to be debunking a lot of stuff about what we learned about black history. And then we'll go into the meat of the video, which is reparations, right? Why are colored people doing for themselves, right? And this is a question in 1825 that Frederick Douglass posed in July 14th, 1848, right? Right? Teaching American history, because that's what it is, right? And Morgan Freeman had a big influence in my life. And when he had a legendary interview, and I'm glad that Larry Elder showcased it in this video that I'm about to show you after I'm done giving my personal thoughts about this topic, is that I always felt that if it's meant to be, it's up to me. My father always taught me, be so good they can't deny you, right? Kenny, you at 2,500 subscribers? Be so good they can't deny you. Eventually, the results will come in. But I ain't going to worry about, oh, why didn't I get a milli on the first video? It's because I'm a black man. No. Why would I worry about things I can't control? That's their problem. If you think I'm dumb because I'm a black man, that's your problem. If you think I'm less than because I'm a black man, that's your problem. It ain't my problem. My problem is I'm just as capable as anyone else. Who gonna win? You or me? Bro, it's only me. Only I control my actions. You can't control anything. You can control your thoughts about me. But end of the day, if you don't put no actions behind your intentions, it's just an idea. And like I said, in every idea, anybody can be wrong. But results, action, they speak louder. Actions speak louder than words. If a racist came out and told me, Kenny, you'll never become anybody, I have two choices. Prove him right or prove him wrong. That's the same question I tell Black America as a community, as a society. Hey, what we gonna do? Is the math test racist? It's not racist. It's just we don't study for it. We don't prepare for it. If a bunch of black kids played basketball and they couldn't shoot, dribble, and you want to get mad that a bunch of white people, let's play a game. Let's do a thought experiment, and then I'll get into the Larry Elder video. Actually, if white people knew how to dribble, shoot, and play basketball properly, but black people are only athletic and they only know how to catch lobs, how the team is going to end up being? It's going to be mostly white, and the black players might be centers and power forwards catching lobs to doing dunks. Now, someone on the outside will be like, "Oh, look at this. The high school is majority black, but look at all those white kids on the basketball team. This is racism." No, it's skill. The white people players happen to have the skills to get those positions, and black people had a certain skill. It's the same thing with the math test. The black kids are not prepared for those math tests, and this is why they fail. It's not because of their skin color. It's because the black community was illy prepared their children for academic success. There's countless studies out there showing how Asian kids spend more time doing homework than other groups of people. Is it any surprise that they do so well academically? And I bet you if you did a study about the time that black kids spend in athletics, you'll probably find a similar correlation. Black kids spend more time in athletics than other groups of kids. And are you surprised that 74% of the NBA is black? 59% of the NFL is black? You want to be surprised? You'll be like, of course, duh. But when it comes to testing, math tests, reading, oh, it's racism, racist standards. Bruh, cop out. Where's the accountability? That's all I care about. I care about things that give us power. You have power over your own mind, not outside events. You know this, you'll have strength. You can't control what happens to you. You only can control how you respond. That's the message of this video, pretty much. So I'm going to just read a little snippet of this, right? The present time is when every black man in the land should be bringing this important question home to his own heart. It is not enough to know that white men and women are nobly devoting themselves to our cause. 1825, by the way. We should know that whenever it's being done amongst ourselves, that our white friends have done and are still doing a great work, good for us, is a fact that which ought to be excited in us in our sentiments of the profoundest gratitude, right? He was speaking gratitude. You think black people are grateful today? Hell no. But look at this guy, recently freed slaves. He fought for his own liberation in the Civil War. He felt a profound gratitude for the people that helped free him. Many white Americans can sit here and claim that the fact that white people who had no connections to slavery died to free slaves, right? Remember, more white people died in the Civil War that technically benefited black people more than white people. White Americans were making claims that was technically reparations. But people would say, no, we want cash payout. But a person who actually went to slavery had gratitude. While people who never even felt a chain on their wrist, unless they were getting handcuffed and going to jail for breaking the law, will sit here and complain and boohoo whine and complain that they deserve money, when the people who actually suffered the atrocities had gratitude for those who helped free them. Craziness, bro. But that's entitlement for you. That's what happens when you're a group of people that expect something for nothing. And I can't stand for that. Sorry, can't. It must never be forgotten that when they have exalted all their energy, devised every scheme, and done all they could in asserting our rights, proclaiming our wrongs, and rebuking our foes, which was the Confederacy, their labor is lost. Yea, worse than lost, unless we are found in the faithful discharge of our anti-slavery duties. If there be one evil spirit among us, for the casting out of which we pray more earnestly than another, it is that lazy, mean, cowardly spirits that rob us of our own manly self-reliance. Ooh, bruh, black men ain't gonna like that line, right? Who's considered the most lazy men on race? You guys can say it. Black men. Look at the stats. We make less money. We're in jail more. Higher unemployment on average, right? If we just comparing men, right? Cowards too. Hey, I'll say black men are cowardly too. Look at the rate of single motherhoods. Look at how single moms complain about their dudes being ain't ish, even though they kind of enable that behavior because they reward the dudes who ain't ish with kids. But hey, that's a two-way street. But hey, yeah, I agree. Right? They don't believe in self-reliance. Black men don't believe in self-reliance. Self-reliance is a masculine trait. Relying on people is a feminine trait. But this goes back to my original argument in the beginning of the video. Democrats want enforced dependency. This is why a lot of black women are worried now. Oh, black men are getting caught up in conservative thought because it's self-reliance. That's a masculine trait, of course. Conservatives have a messaging that caters to men and teaches us that to depend upon ourselves for the accomplishments of that which we should achieve with our own hands. Reparations, is that something that black men can achieve with their own hands? No, it's not. You asking for a handout and you just using reparations for slavery as a pretext to get it, even though you personally never suffered from it. But you want to claim suffrage on behalf of your ancestors when your ancestors here was expressing gratitude and saying, hey, you gave us a shot. That's all we needed. That's the kind of mentality that I think the black community needs to get back. I'm just being honest. This is just how I personally think, bro. But that's the kind of black history I'm going to teach my kids. I'm not going to teach them this victimhood like, oh, you deserve something because you're a black man. That, woe is you. You need to feel sorry for yourself. Nah, I ain't teaching them none of that. I'm like, hey, look, this is what happened, bro. This is what happened in this country. No country's perfect, by the way. Slavery happened in all around the world. Just like every family is not a perfect family. Just like every family has problems. Every country had their problems. Every country has slavery. This is how slavery happened here in America, son. This is how black people were oppressed, son. It was mostly by this party called the Democratic Party. Tell me I'm lying in the comment section. I'll wait. This party founded the KKK. They named the Democratic Party. During the 1860s, when the Republicans had, because end of the day, all the Americans that had anti-slavery sentiment registered and became Republicans. This is why during the 1860s, no Republican had a slave, owned a slave. No Republican owned a slave during the founding of the Republican Party. No Republican had a slave. All the slave owners were Democrats. But they sit here and they pretend to be the good guy. Launching black codes, market regulation, censorship against black-owned newspapers. And they're using the same tactics they're using today in 2023. And then when I come out and said Democrats has always been the party of racism, segregation, plantation politics, people want to get mad at me. Democrats are a platform based on discrimination because they use that discrimination to enlist learned helplessness. So people become dependent on them because they know if you're dependent on them, you're going to give them your vote. Look at the black community. The black community is the perfect testing ground for what they want all across this multicultural, multiracial democracy / republic. Technically, democracy is a feature. We're a republic. They want this multiracial republic to be just like the black community. Black women, overwhelmingly the most loyal voting bloc in the Democratic Party. But guess what? There's a correlation there. A large percentage of black women are dependent on what? Welfare, social entitlements, on the state. Who's the party of the state? Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is the big house. And the black women, excuse my French, are like house Negroes. Oh, yes, master. Don't let them burn our house. Don't let them burn our party. Black man, get over here. Right? Just like when we run in for freedom, they say, you better stay over here. Master been good to you. And this is how you treat master? That's not how black people act with the Democratic Party? Tell me I'm lying. I know I'm not speaking Chinese, bro. Tell me I'm lying. You question the Democratic Party. You get a coon, Uncle Tom Sella, and I'm like, yo, you projecting. That's what you are. I'm asking questions here. I'm saying that black people have been voting Democrat for 50 years. All the negative outcomes are due to their incentives that they created with their policies. War on poverty being my biggest example. Black community was only 25%. I only had a 25% single motherhood rate. Stats show that single parent households have a higher propensity for poverty. What did Democrats do? Oh, hey, if you don't have the man in the house, we'll give you cash and prizes. Advertising it in black neighborhoods, pushing it on the black woman. Hey, oh yeah, you need these benefits. All he has to do is not be in the house. Create conditions, create an incentive. And then the culture arises from that incentive. Oh, I don't need no man. I can raise my kids by myself. And then it skyrocketed the single motherhood rate. And the Democrats allow black men to not take care of their kids for 10 years, and then they hit you with child support. Damn. You saw that finesse? Crazy. They conditioned the black women to not need men. They conditioned black men to abandon their kids. War on poverty now. Because the black man was like, hey, if I'm not in the house, the government will take care of you. It's a win-win for us. I don't have to take care of my responsibility, and you get free cash. You don't have to work for your income. Win-win. That's the game that the Democrats made black people pay. And then after that, the government realized, damn, we can't take care of all these women. They're doing this on purpose now. Okay, let's penalize the black men now. Child support. Oh, man, it's unfair. After you see the setup? After they condition the black men to resolve themselves the responsibility for their kids, they hit you in the other end. Now black men complain about child support now. But blame your ancestors for that. Blame the generation before them because they didn't have no foresight. They didn't have no foresight for that. They condition y'all to be this way. This is what I'm saying. Policies create incentives. Your government is a referee. If the referee keeps calling flops, what are the other players going to do? They're going to be like, this referee keeps calling flops, so I'm a flop. That's exactly what the government just did to the black community. And guess what happened? Who's the most loyal Democratic voters? Black women, black men. My argument as a black conservative is, we've been voting Democrat for 50 straight years. Look at the policies. Look at the prescriptions they address for our problems. And they only created more of those problems. It only centered us in a worse position. And the only thing it seems to benefit is the Democratic Party because the Democratic Party knows that people in poverty are more easier to control than people who are independently wealthy. Because poor people have limited leverage. And that's what they want. This is why they struggle so much with Asians sometimes. Because they're like, Asians, just let us help you. The Asians like, I don't need no help. Craziness. But I'm done rambling for today. So let's get into what y'all came here for. Y'all came for